empowering women to live more balanced lives rooted in the principle of sustainability, allows them to take ownership of their physical and mental health. For over a decade now, Maverick Willet has been fiercely dedicated to utilizing his expertise as a personal trainer to help women, specifically those with families and children, lose weight and understand the meaning behind the why they put certain foods in their bodies, and participate in certain exercises. His goal is to help women live more complete, full, and fulfilling lives. He joined me this week to share his experiences as a personal trainer, a former Army Ranger, and collegiate basketball player, a new dad, and he even took some time to reflect upon what it's like running his online coaching and fitness business with his wife, Sophie. It was an engaging and entertaining conversation, one in which I'm eager and excited to share with all of you. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. So, Maverick, if you're ready, I'll welcome you to the program, and I'm fired up to talk to you this morning about fitness, a little bit about your personal life and what keeps you busy down there in the Sunshine State. So great to see you this morning, and thank you so much for being here.
Kevin, man, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Thank you.
So I want to start by sort of taking a 360 degree view of your life. Obviously, you've had a lot of interesting experiences which have shaped you into the person you are today, from your experience as a personal trainer in the service as an Army Ranger. So thank you for your service, and of course, as a father. So I'm wondering how those experiences have sort of shaped the person you are today.
It's a great question, man. So yeah, I have a kind of a diverse background, comparatively speaking, to a lot of the people in similar space as me. Having the military background, I had a unique upbringing as well, having two parents who were bodybuilders, and I grew up in that fitness environment. The military gave me a lot of personal growth, a lot in the physical and mental realms. So having that combined with just a lot of years of just nutritional research, experimentation, and lots of knowledge from different realms. I have the collegiate sports background, I have the tactical background in the military, I have the bodybuilding background, and using all that to culminate to kind of give a very unique and diverse approach to our coaching and our nutritional philosophy and our coaching philosophy. This is kind of what we're all about. We kind of do a fully fledged, well-rounded approach. We don't just touch on the macros and the meal plans. Those are surface level struggles. We dig deeper and get into those thought patterns and behaviors that bring people to a place of wanting change and being desperate to change their lives. What brought them there in the first place. So we touch on all that in our program, and I feel like I have a unique background that I bring to the table, and I'm very fortunate to do what I do, man.
Yeah, talk to me about your background as a collegiate basketball player and the uh, skills you learned from that in terms of being a team player and of the lessons you take from that in your fitness career and trying to motivate women.
Yeah, I learned, it was a very successful program. I was very fortunate to be in a good program in Maryville, Tennessee, Maryville College. And I learned a lot about what it takes to have a successful, buy-in. You have to have that buy-in, a team effort, a lot of selflessness. We were typically outmatched on the athletic front. We were a private school and didn't have some of the athletic ability of our opponents in our conference. So we had to be very, run like a well-oiled machine and buy into a system. And so I learned the importance of team buy-in and a system that everyone can implement. I learned the values of selflessness and individual work and a lot of perseverance. I learned how to lose gracefully. That was a big thing to learn from failure. And I learned and then as in a leadership role, my senior year, I learned how to lead and then to invoke, an effort that could culminate into a successful season. So, I was very fortunate. Went to the national tournament 3 out of my 4 years there. Always had a good record, and I learned a lot in that experience.
And your experience in the service, I'm sure it taught you a lot about discipline and being there for your fellow soldiers. But I'm also curious to know, what was your best experience in the service, and what have you taken as far as transferable skills into your civilian life?
Man, so many. Being in special operations, there's a certain standard that everyone has to adhere to. And so being surrounded by like-minded individuals who are very driven and mission oriented and team oriented, leadership. I mean, just another area where I learned how to get people of different backgrounds and personalities to buy in to one cause and how to resonate with different personality types and different backgrounds. In the military, you have people from all walks of life. So, being in that environment helped me learn those things. And, obviously you learn your physical limits and how to surpass those and what the body's truly capable of. I learned how to perform. Nutrition for performance is a little bit different for nutrition for looking a certain way. So I definitely learned those aspects as well. And then transferable skills, just discipline, lots of discipline, lots of habits, and how habits culminate to produce just more progression in your life. And and the whole teamwork thing, it was just that kept being a consistent theme throughout both those things.
I'm wondering if you had to encapsulate sort of your life philosophy in a sentence or two, how would you answer that question about how you define life personally?
I think, and this is a constant theme in my coaching program as well. You are a manifestation. You are a manifestation of your habitual lifestyle, both physically and mentally. You are what you habitually consume. And so I thrive and teach my clients to thrive on, feeding the part of yourself that is your authentic self. I'm a firm believer that we all have our conditioned self and our authentic self, and learning how to feed our authentic self by monitoring what we consume and what we habitually do, and making that finished product that you see externally a reflection of that. So I think, you are what you habitually consume and what you habitually do. And those things need to be in line with where you want to be in life.
And I know that both of your parents were competitive bodybuilders, and they've also had a major impact on your life. So I'm wondering, in terms of fitness and just in terms of life value, what your parents have meant to you, bud.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I resonate with women more so than men in the industry that I'm in, and why I strive to help women become their best selves, because my mother came from a very humble background, and she was able to totally transform her life and rise to heights that she, probably never envisioned when she was younger. And she's a holder of a doctorate degree now. She was a very successful competitive bodybuilder. I mean, she's someone who literally rose from the ashes to be a very strong, empowered role model for women. And having her as a role model growing up really helped me understand the challenges and the unfair expectations society put on women, and how difficult it is for them sometimes to thrive in a male dominated environment, their careers, just in life in general, bearing children, and all the expectations and challenges that come with that. So having her as a very strong female role model helped me resonate with women, I think, on a very real level. And then the unique experience I had growing up was, they were still bodybuilding when I was young in my teenage years. I didn't out bench press my mom until I was 17 years old. And so, we always worked out together. And that was very unique, I think, compared to other families, especially in our neighborhood. People just didn't do that kind of thing. And so just having that family bond that we built, my dad and I competed against each other for a very long time, up until, his 60s. He's still going at it. So having that to push me, and just having those two influences and role models in my life, really helped mold me into who I am now and how I can resonate with other people.
And I know you've been in the fitness industry now for a little over a decade, so I'm curious to get your perspective on where you think you've made the biggest impact in the space, and what's caused you to say, wow, I've really made a difference in this field, whether it be a personal experience with a client or reaching a personal fitness goal? How would you answer that question?
So I always had ambitions of impacting the lives and the health of others on a large scale. And I didn't really know how I was going to get there, but I had that vision, and it's finally starting to come to fruition a little bit through our online coaching. And when I get just random texts from clients now telling me, not only, hey, I lost 50 pounds, or I'm down 30 pounds, whatever that number goal is, but the things in their life that happen as a result of bettering themselves physically. For example, I mean, women all of a sudden getting promotions out of nowhere, whilst being in this program, or women's relationships repairing, or them standing up for themselves. These other life accolades that happen as a result of being in what started as a health and wellness journey. Those things really helped me validate, my abilities to resonate and get people to buy into a winning system. Those are just things that you can't really find around the corner in the fitness industry. There's a lot of macro coaches, meal plan coaches, those are everywhere, but to find people who can truly help you make this profound change and impact in your life, that's a little harder to find. That's what I've truly endeavored to make this program, kind of like the last stop in your fitness journey, the last program you'll ever have to invest in, because it helps you make those second order changes that are required to really change your life. So whenever I see that, whenever the before and afters are what you see on my social media, those are the results that people really want to see when they're investing in a nutrition program. But what you don't see a lot of times is the other growth that people have, and that's something I really take pride in.
And in terms of your online coaching business, I know it's always important for you as well to teach women the why they're doing something, or why they're putting food in their body, and why they're doing a particular fitness exercise. So can you expand on that for me?
Yeah, that's a great point, Kevin. I mean, a lot of people will just tell you what to do. They don't tell you the why. And so I strive to justify everything that we give someone. This is what you should eat, and here's why you should eat it. These are the digestive aids that you should implement to help your gut health, and here's how it helps your gut health, and here's how it's going to affect your hormones. And I'm a big proponent of meditation and mindfulness, and we always give the benefits and the backing for why these things help. I mean, meditation is clinically proven to reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, and we'll always give the validation behind these practices. I think people like to know the why. some people can thrive on just being kind of spoon fed, but I think that's something that, I want to give people, again, that long-term solution, that thing that tool they can implement for the rest of their life. And oftentimes, if they know the why, I think the why is very important. The purpose is very important. So yeah, I think that's of the utmost importance to say, here's the plan, here's what you're going to be doing, here's why you're doing it, and here's how it's going to affect your life.
And I know part of your business model is also working with Sophie, who's your wife. So I'm wondering your thoughts on what working with your spouse and whether you've gotten closer during this process and how that worked out for you.
Man, I could spend a whole day on that, but yeah, owning a business together is a challenge. It comes with a lot of challenges. You have to learn how to separate the business from the relationship, and I'm very lucky, obviously, just to have Sophie, but to have Sophie involved in the business. I'm intimidating to women. When women see a picture of me and it's like, hey, I'm going to help you, lose 20 pounds and do this and this. It's like, how can this guy, this 6'5", 250-pound Army veteran, understand what I go through as a woman? And it's not until they commit to the program and get involved that they see that I can, in fact, help with those things. But at first, it's intimidating. And so having her on board as a part of the brand, it helps people know that we are a family. We have a 7-month-old son, and we know what families go through now, trying to reach their fitness goals while raising a child. And I think it's very important that we normalize, the struggles that parents have. But as far as owning a business, we have two completely different thought processes, and that's both a blessing and a curse. More of a blessing because it's a second set of eyes on all decisions. It's a second perspective. It's she brings so many different strengths to the table that I don't have. Her creative ability, her artistic ability, her ability to find information, her organization skills. I mean, all the things she brings to the table have greatly enhanced what we've been able to do and the impact we've been able to have. We're both involved thoroughly in all of our clients' progress and their check-ins and just their livelihoods. We're both very thoroughly embedded in that, and it's honestly it's really amplified the success we've been able to have.
And you also say that you think it's important for women to live balanced life with sustainability, especially if they have a family and kids. So I'm wondering if you can expand on what you mean there, and what would be your message to women who are trying to balance being a mom and being a wife and still wanting to sort of find their inner self from a fitness perspective?
It's a great question, Kevin. We're all about balance. We're all about sustainability, especially for mothers and families. I mean, there's a ton of coaches out there, but if you're working with mothers and families, it can't be a approach that's so restrictive that it's causing more deprivation and more scarcity in their life. Ideally, you want a program that the whole family can be involved in. That's going to ensure that your clients are the most successful and the most likely to be able to adhere to something and get results in the first place and keep those results. I think a big problem right now is there's a lot of fad dieting going on right now, that's very restrictive, and they're attractive to people because they promise overnight results, the easy button, so to speak. But for women in particular, a chicken and asparagus diet or a very, very low carb diet in particular, it's going to be hard to stick to as a mother because, inevitably life happens. The kids need to eat. You can't always cook a no carb meal for the family. And very rarely can you do that. And so the system that you decide to go with for your health and wellness needs to be sustainable. In my opinion, it can't be something that deprives you of the very thing that sustains a lot of your bodily functions, and especially on the hormonal level. So we're all about thyroid health. We're all about metabolic health. And so it's just kind of the most well-rounded plan, especially for mothers, is going to be one that is non-restrictive and helps them become aware of what they're putting in their body without having to stress about it. Your nutrition approach should reduce stress, not create it. It should create time, not take away time. You're getting back your time as a mother is a beautiful thing. So that's something we strive to do. Seeing Sophie have that challenge firsthand after our son was born, trying to get back to her pre-pregnancy health and body image and all that. It took balance. It took, she's she's there. She's there 7 months later. She's back at her pre-baby weight, and she didn't do it by restricting or anything else. She did it by just sensible. The same thing we would apply with our clients. So I got to see that firsthand, the challenges surrounding that, and it gave us more validation for what we're doing with women and mothers in particular.
Hey, Maverick, I'm also curious to sort of go off the beaten path with you for just a second. As you know, I was born with what's called spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy. It just simply means that I don't have enough oxygen in my legs to walk normally. But my question for you is, from a societal perspective, I'm wondering if you could comment on the importance of inclusion for people with disabilities in societal life.
Yeah, look at you, man. Look at you. You are so well spoken. You are doing something with your podcast that I'm not capable of doing. I mean, it's you are capable of so many things. I think that it's the title of your podcast is very apt for this conversation. Let's have this conversation. I think there needs to be more conversation around it, more education. I think that inclusion is of the utmost importance. It brings people together from different backgrounds that have different challenges. I mean, look at what you've accomplished despite this challenge. And, I think you should be, God, I think you should be extremely, extremely proud. But I think that, the bottom line is have the conversation, become educated, don't be closed off to anything, educate yourself, and everybody's going to learn from that. And just from the short conversations you and I have had, I've learned so much already. And it's just it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know that you and Sophie just had a 7-month-old little boy, so congratulations on that. And I'm wondering also, what type of legacy or example do you want to leave for him to sort of emulate in the future?
I think for one thing, especially in today's day and age, love everyone. Love everyone. I'm going to teach my son to love everyone, regardless of background, regardless of beliefs, regardless of differing opinions. I think it's very important in this current climate that people can have conversations respectively, or respectfully, I should say. Be able to have conversations that are difficult, be able to have conversations that are mindful of others' backgrounds and their upbringings, and always show empathy to that. You never know what another person is going through. So passing judgment based on a first impression or appearance or background, I think is something that needs to be fixed in our society. I think conversations need to be had, and I'll always set that example. I've experienced the disparity that happens when people are judged based on any of those factors. And for him, I think just education more than anything. I think that I grew up in an era that things were demonized and not explained, and that caused me confusion around them, and I had to go seek out my own answers, and sometimes weren't prepared to make the best decisions. So I think the best thing we can do as parents is just educate, prepare as much as we can, realize that they're going to make their own decisions, and try to prepare them the best we can to make those decisions. And just, again, I think in the interest of unity and the interest of just overall just being good people, just love everyone and treat everyone the same no matter what, I think is like the number one thing I want to instill in them right off the bat.
And from a personal and a professional perspective, when you're not working, what do you like to do for fun with your family unit? How do you sort of discover your own inner self personally away from the family unit you've created?
Meditation is at the core of everything I do, Kevin. I start every single day with meditation. It's something that's been the biggest factor for my personal development, and being mindful of my character defects, my shortcomings, emotions. It's helped me be more in control. It's helped make my mind a servant and not a master. And it's helped me break out of my conditioned self that lives out of fear and approval, that we develop at a very young age. So meditation is something I've grown very fond of. I played basketball in college, so every now and then I'll go and just shoot some basketball just to escape and kind of go to my nothing place, so to speak, and just really not think about anything but what I'm doing. And I think that's very important. I think there's not enough emphasis placed on mental health in every arena. So I can't emphasize that enough. We also like to go and Sophie and I both enjoyed going and shooting guns at the shooting range. We like to do that. We both obviously are into fitness, so that's kind of our escape as well. And we love to eat. We love to eat good food. We like to go out to eat on dates and just try different food and pretend we're food critics and just enjoy delicious food and disconnect and unplug. I think social media detoxes are necessary, just to completely just turn the phones off for a day or two and just really just live a little bit. So we try to do that as well and just be as present as we possibly can with our son, despite trying to grow a business together.
Absolutely. So I have to follow up to ask you, what's your favorite food?
Man, I'm pretty boring, old fashioned. I love steak. I'm a red meat guy. I love to eat, sirloin, ribeye, just a good cooked steak. I'm easy to please. So we like to go out and eat that kind of stuff. Sophie likes to eat more, she likes pizza. She likes Italian stuff. We both like desserts. So every now and then we'll try a good ice cream or hot lava cake. Those are kind of favorites of ours. But yeah, we've eaten a little bit of everything. We also like Mexican food. We'll go ham on some Mexican too. So just your normal stuff. But yeah, we like that stuff.
Hey Maverick, I have an identical twin brother, and he calls me the red meat carnivore all the time. I love a good steak myself too, so we relate in that respect. So
yeah, I remember you saying you're the better looking one though.
oh, absolutely, he's the smarter one, but I got the better look, better gene pool in terms of looks, but that's
100%.
okay.
100%.
So, hey, Maverick, if people want to connect with you, how can they do that if they want to stay connected with you, bud?
So I'm Maverick Willet, Maverick_Willet on Instagram, Maverick Willet on Facebook. I'm lucky to have a kind of a uncommon name. So if you search Maverick W, that I'm likely going to come up. We have our social media websites, in development right now. But yeah, that's the best ways to kind of connect with us, follow us, see what we're all about, and start a conversation.
So based on your name, I just have asked you a Maverick fan. No.
You mean Top Gun?
Dallas Maverick fan.
Oh, the Dallas Mavericks. I was always a Celtics guy, but I always get the Top Gun question. That's like the main question I get. Were your parents Top Gun fans? And it's actually my mom. It was my mom's idea. She, a Maverick by the literal definition is a wild, unbranded calf, like in cattle. And so she thought I was going to be an individualistic person, a rebellious person. So I guess it depends on who you ask, but that was her thoughts in naming me that.
Fantastic. Hey, Maverick, I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me to talk about the importance of women's health, fitness, and opening up a little bit about your personal life. Really enjoyed our conversation, and I want to thank you for being here this morning. It's most appreciated.
Kevin, thank you so much for having me, man. Really, really enjoyed it. I'm honored. I'm privileged, and I really enjoyed getting to know you, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic, Maverick. We're done.